Hi, I'm Brad Rosley. Thanks for listening to me again today. I haven't videoed for a while, been looking for some really good news. And today is being called by some reopening day across America. Obviously, some states have already reopened prior to this. Georgia, Florida, Arkansas, among others, have not only reopened, Florida's another one, but reopened super successfully. By that I mean people are going outside, they're spending money in businesses, and the test rates are not going up. The hospitals are not having some major rush as people are getting sick. I'm not sure if that's because of the weather, maybe it's the heat, maybe it's being outside, maybe it's because the flu season is coming to an end, maybe there's some correlation with that, I don't know. There's more good news on the vaccine side, get a little bit closer. We may never have one, by the way, but we do have more help from the medical field for sure. And all that is helping to do one thing: keep the stock market up and push it even higher. And that's what I want to talk about a little bit today. Reopening day is a big deal. One other thing that's really exciting to me, as a father of 3 kids in college, I was very excited to learn some statistics. I'm all about numbers at times. But the statistics show that if you're under 24 years old and don't have any symptoms, you got about a 1 in a million chance of dying from COVID. So a lot of freaking out over this stuff for kids, probably not necessary, unless of course you have existing conditions. That's a whole different can of worms. And certainly they don't want to have kids being around people that are susceptible to being sick, whether they're elderly or have other kinds of conditions. I understand that too as well. So I'm really excited. Most of the states are opening up big time. California, not so much. And where I live in Illinois, not so much. Very sad. Not sure exactly why. Don't really want to go into all the reasons that might be true. Let's just keep our fingers crossed, because here in Illinois, at least, we are on pace to get to the next step, phase 3, by the end of the month. The amount of people that are testing positive in Illinois is way down. It's been cut in half from over 20% to more recently closer to 10% of the people who actually get tested are positive. So 9 out of 10 people now in Illinois who are getting tested, so they must have a reason to get tested, are coming back negative. So that's really exciting. There's not been an overburden at all here in the hospitals or anything like that. So I'm very excited about my home state maybe catching up with the other states here in the next several weeks. Hopefully sooner rather than later. Why is the stock market doing what it's doing? Well, I can't tell you on a day-to-day basis so much, but on the big picture scale, it's because of, in my opinion, it's all about earnings. It always is about future earnings. So the stock market took a huge plunge way back in March because they knew the quarterly earnings for the major corporations were going to take a huge hit, and they did. They're going to take another massive hit in the second quarter of 2020. That's all anticipated, okay? The companies that aren't doing poorly, like the Netflix and the Amazons of the world, and Nvidia, another gaming company, those stocks are going up despite all this stuff. Why? Because they're actually doing well in this economy. The stock market is also looking at something that's very important. It's called the money supply, the M2 money supply. As most of you know, a lot of people got stimulus checks. Unemployment checks were huge, too big in my opinion, because people are going to have to take a pay cut in many cases if they want to go back to work, because the stimulus checks are so large relative to what their pay was prior to. A lot of small business owners did get what's called PPP checks, and those are extremely helpful. So there's a lot of money supply just waiting to be saved or spent. Very exciting for the economy. So those are a couple of things I'm most excited about. One of the things I'm most excited about is the overall trend made in America. We've already started to move that way the last 3+ years. Now that's going to be ramped up dramatically. A lot of things have been exposed to the general public. Like, for example, I don't know if you did, that 90% of our pharmaceuticals are made in China. Well, that's crazy. What happens if the Chinese and the U.S. got into an economic or other kind of trade war and we couldn't get our pharmaceutical prescriptions? Now that would be devastating. We cannot be that reliant on other countries, whether it be for pharmaceuticals or parts. There are a lot of parts that go into cars and other machines. We need to be manufacturing those in the United States of America. And hopefully, we've proven with things like General Motors making up an entire new plant to help during the pandemic in Indiana. In less than 3 weeks, they built a plant that they were able to, I think, they make masks and ventilators in. So there's a lot of new manufacturing going on, and there's going to be a whole lot more in the next several years. A whole new world that we're going to be living in. And that gets me very excited in the long term for U.S. stock prices, because they will have corporate earnings on those companies that become the new winners of the 2020s. Now, that being said, this is a reset, not just in the U.S., but globally. There will unfortunately be a lot of losers, the saddest of which being small business owners who've just gotten a terrible deal here. Why we can have 50 people or 100 people or 200 people in a Walmart, but we can't have 3 in a small business is crazy. And unfortunately, some of those aren't going to make it. There's also going to be new technology companies. Nobody had ever heard of Zoom. Not many people have heard of Zoom until the last couple months. And other companies like that are going online and making meetings way different. Okay, I'm on Zoom meetings every week now. And many other people are as well. There's other companies, the Netflix of the world. There's companies that you're able to buy groceries now online. Now, I know that's been available for a while. It's not brand new, but the demand for that service has gone up exponentially. People that are worried about getting sick, they have the choice to stay home and never be exposed. You can order anything you want now and have it delivered more than ever. So I love that opportunity as well. So I'm really excited about a new manufacturing boom, the money supply in the U.S. and America starting to open finally. And hopefully over the next few months, this summer and in the fall, we'll get back to where we used to be and then some. Thanks a lot for listening. You can reach out and send me an email or call, or if you want to set up a Zoom meeting, let me know. Have a wonderful day, and thanks for listening.